In our last lesson, we learned how to read chemical formulas. For example, the chemical formula CaCO3 is made of calcium, carbon, and oxygen. One of the questions asked you to compare the following substances: absorbic acid, citric acid, and sucrose. Many of you noticed that they were made up of the same three elements: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but each substance had different numbers. That small number is called a subscript, and it tells you how many atoms of each element are needed to make something called a molecule. For example, in an absorbic acid molecule, there are 6 carbon atoms, 8 hydrogen atoms. How many oxygen atoms are there? Molecules are usually made of elements on the right side of the periodic table and hydrogen. The molecule is made when the atoms bond or stick together. So here we can see the atoms are separate, and once they bond, they form a water molecule. Is it a molecule? Remember, it's not a molecule if the atoms are not bonded together. It's a molecule if atoms are bonded together. It is not a molecule because the hydrogen atom is not bonded to anything else. Is it a molecule? It is not a molecule because the hydrogen atoms are not bonded or stuck together. Is it a molecule? Yes, it's a molecule because the atoms are bonded or stuck together. Last one. Is it a molecule? Yes, it's a molecule because the atoms are bonded or stuck together. Some molecules have only one element. Let's look at some molecules that are made of the element oxygen. If you look at the molecules of these substances, there are many ways they can be shown. Sometimes the molecules are shown by drawing them as circles stuck together like this. Each circle represents an atom. So here we have 1, 2 oxygen atoms, and here 1, 2, 3 oxygen atoms. Sometimes they can also be shown by drawing them as circles connected by lines. The circles are the atoms, and the line represents the bond holding them together. So these are 2 ways to show oxygen molecules, and these are 2 ways to show ozone molecules. For example, a water molecule has 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Here are some examples of molecules with more than one element. We've got water, H2O, 1, 2, and 1, and carbon dioxide, CO2, 1, 2. Here each circle still represents an atom, but different colors are used to represent the different elements. What color is used for carbon dioxide? The circles are the atoms, and the line represents the bond holding them together. Again, these are 2 ways to show the same molecule. 2 ways to show the same molecule. Water and carbon dioxide are simple molecules with only a few atoms. This image shows glucose, which is a type of sugar. How many atoms are in a glucose molecule? Hint, you need to add up the subscripts. Yes, there are 24 atoms in this molecule. 6 carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. What is the chemical formula? H2O, 2 H's and 1 O. Remember, we do not write 1 as a subscript. What is the chemical formula? H2, 1, 2 H's. What is the chemical formula? CO2. Remember, we don't write the 1. We just write CO2. At this point, you should be able to identify a molecule. Remember, the atoms have to be bonded for it to be a molecule. You should also be able to read the subscript, or the small numbers, in a chemical formula. For example, water is H2, that means 2 hydrogen atoms, and 1 oxygen atom. Finally, you should be able to explain how molecules form using the words bond, which means stick together, and atoms.